Welcome to the debate. Today we're digging into the future of unstructured document conversion. We'll be looking closely at two, pretty distinct leading platforms. So on one side we have Docling, that's the self-contained open source engine. And then on the other, there's LandingAI's Agentic document extraction, ADE, which is a managed cloud-native API. The central question here, it's really fundamental to the architecture. Does the immense flexibility, the component specialization, and the sheer control offered by a local open source system like Docling actually provide a better foundation for, let's say, truly advanced document conversion? Better than the streamlined power and specialized agentic features of a managed framework like ADE. Now, I'll be arguing that Docling's open source architecture offers, essential control and really unmatched technical superiority for long-term development.
And I come at it from a different angle, really. While Docling champions data sovereignty, and that's important, I believe that the complexities of real-world documents, the variability, the poor scans, the unexpected layouts, they really demand the kind of continuous refinement and, frankly, the simplified deployment you get with a managed agentic service. So I'll be arguing that LandingAI ADE, with its API-driven design and its zero-shot extraction capabilities, is actually the superior platform here, focusing on seamless deployment and getting immediate high-fidelity results.
Okay, so Docling, it distinguishes itself right away through its core philosophy. It's designed to be an easy-to-use, self-contained, MIT-licensed Python package, and it's really engineered for local PDF conversion. Its core strength isn't trying to be some single monolithic model. No, it's specialization. The pipeline leverages very specialized, established AI models. You've got DocLayNet, which is optimized specifically for robust layout analysis, and then TableFormer, which gives you state-of-the-art recognition of complex table structures. It expertly handles those tricky cases like merged cells or layouts without grid lines. This kind of component-based specialization helps ensure high accuracy on those specific tasks. The output is highly structured, you get detailed JSON or clean Markdown, and it preserves reading order, extracts key metadata like title, authors, references, but the real value, I think, lies in implementation control. You, the developer, you dictate the execution environment. You choose the OCR backend, easy OCR if you need it, and you can optimize the whole process for either high throughput in batch mode or alternatively for low time to solution if you need it for interactive applications.
Right, that's a compelling argument for control, I'll give you that. But have you considered the MLOps burden, the sheer overhead of managing and updating all those multiple specialized components? LandingAI ADE is really designed to bypass that kind of complexity entirely. We're offering an agentic document extraction API that extracts structured data from highly unstructured documents without needing template training. And the core differentiator, I'd say, is the sophisticated intelligence that's built directly into the service itself. For instance, we offer semantic chunking. Now, this is crucial for downstream AI applications. It means we intelligently group content based on its meaning, its coherence, rather than just, slicing it based on some arbitrary fixed length or layout breaks. This fundamentally improves the quality of knowledge retrieval in RAG systems. And what's more, the architecture itself is, elegantly decoupled. You interact with the ADE parse API just once to convert the document. And then you can run the ADE extract API multiple times against different data schemas. That's incredibly efficient for experimentation and handling diverse business needs. And for enterprise validation, every single output includes visual grounding. We provide hierarchical JSON output that includes the exact page number and the bounding box coordinates for every extracted element. That makes the results fully traceable.
Traceable, okay. But that architectural philosophy, that reliance on an external managed service, that's precisely the point of, the highest tension here. For many organizations, especially those in, say, regulated industries or dealing with highly sensitive IP, Docling's local execution model and its permissive MIT license are frankly non-negotiable advantages. We're not just talking about saving money here. We're talking about fundamental data governance and data sovereignty. You can prefetch all the required models just by setting the Docling artifacts path variable and then deploy the entire conversion framework in air-gapped or offline environments. That's something a cloud API just fundamentally cannot offer.
Right, but how much technical headache does that control actually introduce? When you're running these models locally, aren't you constantly wrestling with configuration, dependencies, hardware limitations?
Well, that trade-off is measurable and crucially controllable. Yes, okay, GPU acceleration is still described as work in progress within Docling. But the system provides fine-grained control over local resources right now. You can limit CPU usage simply by setting OMPN threads. Furthermore, the performance trade-offs, they're transparent and they're configurable. The source material shows that on high-end local hardware like, say, an Apple M3 Max, the native backend processes 225 pages in about 177 seconds. However, if speed is absolutely paramount, you can switch the PDF backend to PyPDFIM. That bumps your throughput up from 1.27 pages per second to 2.18 pages per second. Now, what's the cost? You take a hit on table recovery quality, and there's reduced memory efficiency. It uses about 2.56 gigabytes versus the 6.20 gigabytes used by the native backend. But this is power. This is choice. We get to choose where we make those sacrifices based on the document type, rather than just accepting some vendor-imposed average performance profile.
I worry, though, that level of granular control actually slows down deployment and potentially introduces instability. You mentioned the quality loss with the PyPDFM backend. How confident can you really be in the quality of the recovered data for, let's say, highly sensitive legal or financial documents, when your performance optimization choices directly degrade critical structural elements like tables? See, the managed API approach of LandingAI, it solves this by simplifying deployment and guaranteeing consistency. We mitigate that local configuration complexity by offering reliability through things like model versioning and snapshots. You can pin your production workflow to a specific, immutable snapshot, maybe dpt-2.20250919, ensuring completely consistent parsing behavior for compliance reasons, or you can opt for dpt-latest to seamlessly benefit from our continuous improvements.
That kind of consistency, I think, is invaluable for ML ops stability in high-stakes environments.
But that stability comes with, well, inherent vendor lock-in, doesn't it? You are bound by their update cycle, their model design philosophy.
Not necessarily lock-in in the traditional sense. We actively address security concerns regarding a commercial cloud platform by offering a zero data retention, or ZDR option. And when we talk about enterprise deployment, look, we recognize the need for data proximity. That's why ADE is available as an application right in the Snowflake marketplace. This lets you process documents either directly within Snowflake, using local processing functions, which satisfies many data proximity needs, or you can use the Cloud Service API. So we're trying to bridge that gap you highlight, giving you power, consistency, and enterprise integration, while still offering flexibility in where the processing actually occurs relative to your data lake.
Okay, while the Snowflake integration is certainly a smart move towards enterprise adoption, I'll grant you that. It still means the user has to wait for LandingAI to integrate new advancements. Docling's flexibility, its real power, stems from the extensibility of its core pipeline, the base model pipeline. If some niche requirement emerges, let's say a sudden need to parse highly specialized scientific documents, you aren't stuck submitting a feature request and waiting. You're simply enabling an optional enrichment feature that's already there, just disabled by default to maintain low latency.
Could you give us an example? What kind of specialized understanding are you talking about there?
Absolutely. I'm referring to features like formula understanding, which can extract LaTeX representations for scientific notation, or code understanding that can correctly identify and set the code language property for code blocks within documents. Even more advanced, we support picture description and classification using configurable local VLM models like Granite Vision or maybe Small VLM. This component-based approach means Docling can evolve, potentially instantly, to meet unique, maybe niche demands of proprietary or emerging document types without the MLOps team having to wait for, the next quarterly API update from a vendor.
Okay, that highlights Dockling's ability to sort of bolt on existing specialized models, which, yes, is commendable for extensibility. But it does require coordinating that external model integration and managing the inherent latency increase you yourself noted. I think this approach contrasts, maybe poorly, with the innate agentic sophistication that's built directly into AD's core models. LandingAI AD, particularly with the latest iteration of DPT-2 introduced back in September 2025, integrates these high-fidelity parsing capabilities fundamentally into its core chunk ontology.
What exactly do you mean by expanded ontology?
Well, we move beyond just basic layout classes like figures and captains. DB2 provides dedicated, specialized chunk types that are optimized for complex entities that often defy traditional layout models. I'm talking about specific classes for things like logo, card, and this is specifically optimized for IDs and driver licenses attestation, which handles signatures, stamps, seals with proper grounding, and even scan code for QR or barcodes. Now, this isn't just labeling, it's specialized extraction logic integrated into the agentic model itself. And furthermore, DP2 features agentic table captioning. This offers, frankly, unprecedented fidelity for complex tables. Think about merge, cell, and no gridline layouts. And it comes complete with cell-level grounding. This specialized depth means the model is intrinsically better at interpreting the intent behind the document structure, not just, the pixels on the page.
I can see why that superior integrated granularity is appealing, especially for things like forms processing. However, the open source philosophy of Docling, it's not really about achieving exact feature parity with a specific vendor. It's more about creating a rich, structured foundation that can seamlessly feed the wider open source ecosystem without that lock-in.
Okay, but if we move to the final utility, thinking about RAG and specific data extraction, doesn't Dockling's complexity sort of translate into a higher barrier to actually getting into production use?
On the contrary, I'd argue, Dockling's high-quality structured conversion, including that reliable reading order and layout structure, is actually the perfect starting point for knowledge extraction. For RAG specifically, we developed the companion open source package, Quackling. Now, this package leverages Dockling's structured output to perform optimized document-native vector embedding and chunking. This plugs directly into industry-standard LLM frameworks, like Llama Index, for example. It actually offers superior performance for search and knowledge construction precisely because it capitalizes fully on the known structure provided by Docling, rather than relying on more generic text splitters. So it provides a seamless path to building an advanced, customized knowledge base without those proprietary API costs piling up.
Yeah, while that's great for developers who are building out their own open source RAG stack, the reality is that many business needs are highly specific. They often require targeted extraction, not just broad RAG ingestion. And this, I think, is where the decoupled nature of ADE provides immense production efficiency. Let me reiterate the parse-extract separation. You incur the parsing cost only once. So if your R&D team needs to extract, say, all technical specifications based on one schema, and then your compliance team needs a totally different subset of financial figures based on a completely different schema from the exact same document, you simply run ADE extract multiple times against the already parsed output. This focus on schema-based extraction for specific business outputs, coupled with that detailed visual grounding metadata, allows for far more efficient, repeatable, and traceable post-processing, especially in live production workflows. It's really built for efficient scaling and auditability.
And while efficient, yes, that system inherently limits the user to a predefined schema, doesn't it? If the business need changes, even subtly, you're reliant on making a new API call, potentially tweaking the schema to extract that slightly different data point, whereas Docling has already given you the full, rich, local JSON structure. This allows for flexible post-hoc extraction logic right there in your own environment. Docling allows maximum control over the conversion process itself, getting you to that structured JSON, and then the developer controls the extraction process afterwards. This, I believe, leads to lower long-term operational costs and much greater intellectual agility.
But again, how much does that intellectual agility cost the MLOps team? Cost them in time and complexity, managing all those independent, specialized, and continually updating open source components. ADE is fundamentally about reducing the cognitive load and complexity, while maximizing extraction power and consistency. We essentially trade some of that fine-grained architectural control for streamlined deployment, for consistency, and for the power of an inherently agentic, specialized model that arguably handles real-world complexity better than any collection of bolt-on components might.
Ultimately, Dockling's value proposition is really centered on absolute transparency, maximum technical flexibility, and that crucial data sovereignty, all guaranteed by its MIT license. Its extensible, component-based pipeline makes it, I think, the definitive choice for technical teams who prioritize low operating costs, full control over the conversion process itself, and the ability to finally customize performance and integrate emerging research practically instantly.
Conversely, LandingAI offers a truly cutting-edge, highly managed, and sophisticated agentic solution. Its deep document understanding, really manifested in the DPT-2 model's expanded chunk ontology and that specialized agentic table captioning, excels in high-volume, complex, real-world document extraction scenarios. When you consider the speed of deployment, the consistency you get via model versioning, and the deep enterprise integration points like the Snowflake application, well, the managed convenience and the guaranteed power often outweigh the potentially immense maintenance burden of full architectural control for many large-scale users.
It seems clear then that both architectures represent significant, yet fundamentally different technical advancements in this challenge of transforming variable PDF documents into truly machine-processable formats.
Absolutely. And the decision really hinges entirely on what the consumer values more. Is it the freedom, the customization, and the potential cost savings of full open-source technical control? Or is it the guaranteed power, the deployment efficiency, and the sheer convenience of a continuously updated, managed agentic service that's really designed from the ground up for production-grade extraction? There's certainly more to explore, I think, in how these trade-offs manifest across different industry-specific document categories as well.